21st Century Life Skills.
I'm far less social than I used to be. I do enjoy when we do have our friends over, but not in the same way. I would rather read a good book than empty small talk or just, filling up time.
I think this COVID, this lockdown, one of the silver linings is, and the way I just looking and speaking with a lot of people, it actually seems that what you're describing is a return to a more natural state. In other words, for decades, especially with the digital and the media, we've been drawn out of ourselves, so we haven't really known who we are, not even knowing what our preferences. We're thinking that we prefer social. And then given the forced nature of this, I think a lot of people are actually returning to sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the characteristics of the sobriety is an appreciation for solitude. It's actually maybe have been a healing for you,
Mm-hmm.
given an early childhood of social conditioning to believe that was the only value and standard. And also this whole idea of the digital new nomad, the new lifestyle of people who are working from home on computer and so forth, or have more freedom, not having to go out and waste gas, spend gas and travel and for the job, and companies everywhere adapting from the city government level to the corporate level. They're finding ways to work from home. There was just no need for it before.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's been mandatory and that you can kick and scream, but you have to do it, otherwise you risk infection. There's another realization, which is this might be actually a more intelligent way of living.
Mm-hmm.
And so that when we do go out, it's really meaningful.
My time is planned so much differently. I no longer go out, oh, I need this, and I run out and get it. No, I don't need it until every last bit of resources.
What's happened with the pandemic and all that we just described and shared about this turn inward and an appreciation for our bodies and for our life, and reevaluating who our friends are, who we want to spend time with, and who's not necessary to spend time with, and so forth. It all falls in line with the new lifestyle. And this is often a sign of success in people when they're good at what's called multitasking. The multitasker is the king and queen. They're the ones who get the reward. The people who put the energy out have that kind of ability. And some are clearly much better at this than other people. But what we're adding to this is a complement. It doesn't replace multitasking. We're always going to need that vital skill. And devices, our electronics and digital, are making multitasking much easier. What they call seamless. We get many things done at once. Your computer is the newer your model computer or your phone, your devices, the more effective multitasking they do for you. So that's becoming more seamless. And so whereas the old businessman, the old 70-year-old businessman, a successful guy, could do that, had to do it by hand. Now it's being done much easier by 20-year-olds because the technology's much easier. So there's something more. This is being maxed out, this idea of that being the sign of success, that being the sign of the key to contentment in life and happiness, which it isn't, because it's well known that successful people are often overdriven and they're out of balance in their life. In fact, a lot of successful people who are our role models live very, very questionable or lives that are not necessarily good for their health. Or if they're able to maintain health, it's not good for the health of people around them because of their personality. So we offer the idea of one effort living. One effort living is a complement, is the feminine complement to the masculine multitasking. And what one effort living does is it shifts the focus to from what it is now, which is 70%. Just a figure. I don't have the numbers accurately. It's probably more than 70%. But would you agree that the way life pushes us before the pandemic, it's been almost like breakneck, almost to breaking point, where 70%, 80%, 90% is outside. And we even think that that's the personality, or that's a natural thing, or it should be that way. And the inner life, if there is any, would be 10%, 20%, 30%, so forth. So what one effort living does is it shifts that focus. And this is what our recommendation is for the new way that on the macro level of how to reconfigure life. We have to tackle a big idea first. If we start with the small things, we never get anywhere. We need a big idea, like that of, as I've just been saying, describing, but that is 70% inner life and 30% outer. In fact, that is what the wise ancients knew and practiced and taught. Now, how do you do it? Well, the immediate problem we come up with is that what we as modern people lack is inner repertoire. We lack a language, we lack a framework, we lack terminology, we lack concepts, we lack the ability to relate this idea or relate to it ourselves of what it means to live 70 on the inner life and then 30 on the outer, roughly that proportion. Like in terms of wisdom being the inner life and the outer life being technical expertise, the doing of life, your ability, my ability as a farmer, my ability as a healer, my ability as a manager, my ability as a mother or parent.
Well, we can see, we can look around and see what we've done, what's happened to the world. This is the result of that.
In terms of decisions that are made, when you're so focused outside, it affects your decision making. It affects your health. I mean, that's another benefit of this pandemic. People have had a chance to rest, maybe for the first time in their lives. This thing that I call advanced human training promotes the one effort living principle of 70-30 inner life to outer life. And in our lack of repertoire, because there simply hasn't been any culture promoted for this, we're the first thing we do is we examine what inner life we do have. We all have an inner life, but what is the substance of that inner life that we have? What does it consist of? It's taken the old system, which says that the inner life, that we all have an inner and outer life. But a unique facet of this is that is not only this 70-30 inner outer proportion, which is balance. Balance is 70-30, not 50-50. They say 50-50 is the outer world, like physics or the physical world. When it comes to human life, human reality, the idea of the yin yang balance is not 50-50, it's 70-30. So if you look at the fish of the yin yang, one of the fish with the dot, the eye in the middle, represents the 30 and the 70 around it. This idea of human life that splits into two ways, different ways of orienting and making sense and dealing with the world, what the Chinese called scholarship or intelligence, and warriorship, which is capability and strength. We place so much emphasis on capability today, which explains why the 70+% focus outside of ourselves. But today people need to understand that's not natural, and that we do now have the means and the knowledge, the information on how to make that shift from where we are now to a 70-30 in the other direction, 70 inner life, outer life.